All right, and we are live. Okay, thank you. Hello, everyone, for being here. We're live. Yay. Okay, I remember to hit the button this time. So
Mhm.
we're a little bit late. Sorry about that. Some more, you know how it goes. Mercury retrograde, especially. So, Ashley, I'm here with Ashley again, Galactic Ashley, and we are here to hopefully give you some galactic updates from our Star Nation peeps and share some information that we hope is helpful for you and just have a good time and connect. So, those that do not know me, my name is Sharon Sananda Kumara, and I am in the Portland, Oregon area. I practice as hello, Miss Jules. Good to see you. I have a practice as a psychic medium hypnotherapist. Uh, I teach metaphysical courses, things, anything that's woo woo. I'm there. I'm also a contactee and experiencer. I have been a contactee and experiencer since I was a child. And so I am here. My experiences happen to the present, to the day. So I do have some cool stuff to share. And that's a little bit about me. Ashley, good to see you again.
Hi, good to be here again. I can't believe it's been like a month. I was like, I just saw you
Almost.
yesterday. So I'm Galactic Ashley. I channel divine guidance for starseeds, connecting them to their star families and galactic lineages. And I use light language frequencies and work with your cosmic connections to facilitate high frequency healing transmissions and encoded activations. My every year I create these 3 9-week courses, and the next one, which is my wild card course, is starting next week on Wednesday, which will run for 9 weeks every Wednesday from 5:15 to 7:15, and I have also 5 bonus sessions with 5 guest speakers, and it's called Gaia and the Galactics. So if you are here and you want to get your galactic groove on, or you feel like you align with being an earth warrior, a dragon, or whatever, this one is going to be unique, I would say, compared to the others. It's very much, I just had an experience the other day where it's like I became this river and the river became the Milky Way. So it's really a lot about integrating these like galactic frequencies with earth frequencies, because earth is a star nation, and so these bodies have to kind of sort of get oriented. So if you're more galactic, that might mean getting more earth warrior-esque, and if you're more earth warrior, that might be coming maybe more cosmic, but really sort of merging these two energies together. So I'm excited about that. I'm also really feeling that and kind of getting slammed with energy, getting prepared for it too. So, yep.
Nice, nice. That sounds really amazing. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, thanks, Ashley. I know the energies have been crazy for me today, and I didn't really notice it too much until today. Something about this day, I'm not sure what it is, but I know there's a lot going on, and things have been crazy. Um, Especially with electronics and just feeling kind of out of sorts. And I've never really been bothered too much that I could tell by retrograde and Mercury when in retrograde. And I'd hear people say, "Oh yeah, well that's it's been crazy for me," and I would think, "Huh, well I don't really notice it, being out of balance with it, but I noticed it this time. I understand this is a pretty intense one." So. Hello, Carissa. I would love to hear how you, those that are watching, how you handle it. How it's going for you. Do you know when it's when Mercury's moving out?
I think the 18th.
Okay.
I just looked it up the other day. I also have a friend who has a surgery that like needs to happen as soon as possible, and she made sure that it was not happening during Mercury retrograde. As a non-astrologist, knowing not that much about astrology, I
Same
think
here.
it also depends on where Mercury is in your natal chart too, and how
Mm,
you'll experience those retrogrades. So, because I'm more in alignment with you, I tend to feel the collective experience of Mercury retrograde. So, I
mhm,
feel like the pre shadow and the shadow of it more because that's when the shift is happening
mhm.
versus when it's actually happening. And then all the people that are conscious of it or unconsciously conscious of it because it's like become a meme too.
Yeah.
Um, so it's and there's t-shirts and stuff probably at Target. I don't know. But so it's like how do you work with those energies and it affects people and people get upset and it's that sort of upsetness I think I probably feel in the collective more than the retrograde itself. But um yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, who knows? I do know that, planets affect us. I mean, we know this.
Mhm.
That's ancient knowledge, so it's not anything new that planetary alignments affect us, and that's why we're going through what we're dealing with this quickening, I like to call it. Humanity is going through now because from what I understand, and from the Earth perspective, this Sharon brain perspective is we're moving through the end of a 26,000 year cycle and probably bigger cycles than that too. And that the whole part of our solar system, and you might be able to talk to this more, Ashley, is moving through a also a shift. So there's a lot, not just Earth who's shifting, but there's a lot of our part, this part of our galaxy that's the whole. Well, we all shift together, right? One part of our galaxy can't move, can't shift, and the other part just stays still. We're never static, so we are shifting.
Yeah. It's also interesting. I remember from a previous course, the Andromedans coming in and talking about, and I don't, so there's Andromedans, the star system, and then Andromeda, the galaxy, and that this like the Milky Way galaxy has been birthed from the Andromedan galaxy, and we are merging back in, obviously very slowly,
Okay.
back
Yeah.
towards like the mother or whatever you want to call it, but the Milky Way is
Mhm.
going back into the Andromedan galaxy. And I think scientists have actually shown, I mean, they can tell that we're moving towards that direction. Now, by how much and all of that, I don't know. But
It
the
makes me
idea,
think of, sorry to interrupt you, but it makes me
yeah,
think of going back into the womb kind of thing.
yeah,
That's what came to mind.
yeah. And to me, that feels like a good thing, not necessarily going back to the womb,
Yeah.
but like going back towards the
Home.
source or the
Home.
center or
Yeah.
like home, right?
Hmm.
So I find that fascinating. And we are coming up on Mother's Day too, which I think is this Sunday.
Yeah. We're just
Um,
thinking of that.
yeah. So I feel like that will bring up things for people. And I was asking the beings before we jumped on this call, like what might be some advice for people to do. And whether you're a man or a woman, or regardless of how you identify, or regardless of, because it's going to bring up a lot of like regular things, depending on the relationship you have with your actual biological mother, if they're actually living or not living. But ultimately, like the word matrix comes from, I mean, the word mother comes from the word matrix or matrices, right? So, in regardless, we have a whole mother theme that goes on here. We have Mother Gaia, whether or not you want to see Gaia as male or female. I think if we were not in these bodies on this planet, I'm not so sure we would see it as masculine or feminine. But I think that these are all things to think about and to reconnect yourself to this sort of the whole matrix, not like the fractured matrix, not the broken parts, but like these whole parts of yourself. And it feels like an opportunity to rebirth yourself. or just go enjoy Mother's Day as a mother or with your mother. But if you tend to struggle with this holiday, or, Hallmark, I don't even know the history of Mother's Day, but it was chosen on this day. So you can ignore it or do something about it. But I find that when this is definitely a North American holiday. So if there's enough people that believe in something, there's that energy that's around, right? Becomes
Yeah,
becomes a thing with expectation. So you can,
it does,
yeah.
and I mean, it's always good to honor the mother energy, the mother, our mothers, and our
Mhm.
fathers on Father's Day, and any, and now we have Grandparents' Day. But you know, I I'm kind of a cynic, so I also feel that these holidays just that are a good way for corporations to make a lot of money off of us too.
Mhm.
So that's the cynic in me. Uh,
Right.
yeah,
And that's also true, right? I'm a big believer in both and, but because that's a holiday that we've created as a collective
mhm,
Americans, it has become a thing. So that energy is in the field, right? So little kids
right.
get up and do things for parents, or they don't. Or mothers might not feel good because their kids forgot about them. We have movies made about this. So it's very much like in the programming.
Yes.
And I was just reminded of something. It was my birthday the other weekend, and somebody left me a really sweet message. And she was like, I honor um, your birth into this world, and I honor your mother for birthing you into this world, and your father. And then she went on to your grandparents. She's South American too, so, and does a lot of work with women, and so it's kind of like a beautiful thing. And I was like, right, because
Mhm.
all of those people kind of needed to exist in
Totally.
order for me to come through the gateway of my mother to come into this
Yeah. None of us
place.
got here on our own.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Some of
lot of
us had
work
to be
there.
pushed. Get out. you, you are going, I don't want it.
I'm safe in here. I I don't wanna,
Just
yeah,
like,
or I wanna go back in. Let me back in the womb. It's too scary out here. Hi, Mandy, and, Miss Jules says, let's see here. Good marketing. Look at diamonds, best example of great marketing. Yes, yes, yes. Definitely. There's a lot of holidays for for jewelry and diamonds and things like that.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. So, good stuff. Yeah, my mother's on the other side, and, so I don't have to buy her anything.
Mm.
I just give her some love and tell her, "Happy Mama's Day. Thank you for being my mother, bringing me into the world too,
Mhm.
birthing me." Um, so I wanted to share a couple of experiences that I had since we talked last, which I thought were kind of interesting. Hopefully, everyone will think so too. Um, and if you know me, some of the people here who know me, I am a traveler, and I do a lot of, well, we're all travelers in our nighttime, in the nighttime, but I'm a conscious traveler, so I do a lot of journeying. And it seems to me, well, not seems to, but lately, last 2 or 3 years at least, um, I'm remembering a lot of traveling to on ships and meeting up with extraterrestrials, some I have never seen before, that type of thing, and seeing a lot more of um, what I'm doing in the higher planes, I guess you could say, in different realities. um, so, beginning of May, I think, no, April. April. Where are we?
We're mad.
We're May. Okay. Who am I? Where am I? Okay. Um, April. Yes, in April, not too long ago. Yes, April. Yeah, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I had an experience where I was bilocating, okay? And it was early in the morning, and I'm bilocating. I can see myself and also see myself from outside my body. And I'm wearing a, um, a cloak or a cape with the holes for arms. There's no sleeve, and of the cape kind of thing. And it's a blue color, like a light blue color, and then sleeves underneath that. And my um, at first I thought my hair was piled really high, but then I realized afterwards I think I had a really big head because uh, that came to me in my meditation afterwards. And I've seen that being, which I've talked about with who looks just like me in the face, but has the younger and higher frequency, but the big bald head. So I see her standing there, and there's a male next to her who's in a dark uniform, dark blue it looks like, and she's standing in front of, and I know that I'm there. I feel like it's me because I have the thoughts of her in and out. I'm there for some important meeting or some meeting with others, and I feel like I'm like an emissary or something like that. Okay, um, and I'm standing in front of a those like a greeter where it's a white podium that she's standing behind, and it's kind of high, and she's giving me instructions for the meeting and what I need to know, type of thing. And I don't remember the instructions. I just remember her saying, "Do you understand this?" And I said, "Yes, I understand." That's all, that's all I remember. So, and that was about it. About a week later, and people that know me know that I follow Elena Denon because her information confirms afterwards some of the stuff that I get. Okay, beforehand, I saw an interview with her, and she was on Michael Sala, and she said that she was taken, and she was bilocating actually too, to a meeting um, through the council, through the federation of the council, the federation, and because apparently the information she got was that the the Draco reptilians that the Federation that we've worked really hard to remove from our solar system are trying to get back in. So they've made it a deal with these beings who are neutral in the system that are pretty that even the reptilian, the Draco, the Sakaar Empire. These beings are the only ones that the reptilians are afraid of, and they look like some huge alien type of being from the movies that we have, right? And so they made some kind of a deal with them to keep the reptilians out of on the perimeters of the solar system to keep them because they're trying to get back in. Okay. Now they're not a part of the Federation, but they're trying to get them to be a part of the Federation. And I don't know if you can see them, but they're pretty scary looking. They're like 20 feet tall. But hold on, let me see that type of a being.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, so there's what the meeting was all about apparently um, was that there might be some type of galactic battles going on in the solar system between these beings to keep them out of our solar system. So I thought that was interesting because I knew I was there for some big meeting kind of thing. I didn't know what it was. I didn't get the information because I'm not, I'm not saying that was it. I'm just saying it was kind of quinky dinky for me. And I know that my higher self gives me these, or or what I've found is my higher self gives me these types of memories, awarenesses afterwards, in so that I can put the pieces together, which our higher self does that to us all the time, right? That's what they do. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And there was something that she said, and I can't remember what it was, darn it. Anyway, that went along with my experience. And I can't remember what it was at the moment. So that was one experience. I had another experience where I was what felt like in, and it's just reality shift is what it is. I'm shifting into another reality, right? Um, and I was felt like I was in some kind of underground base or something like that, and I'm with a male who I know who he is. I've been with him many times. I'm there with my awareness as me, and I'm who is as me as Sharon, who is bilocating again with the person that's in the base. Okay, if that makes any sense. Okay, so my awareness is within that part of me. Okay, in that reality shift, and I'm doing something. I'm actually holding a baby and doing something with a baby. Okay, I feel like there's children involved, and I don't know. I have a feeling there might be some kind of operations I'm on with maybe rescuing children or something like that. I've felt something like that because of my history. So I'm holding a baby. Um, I give the baby back to this person, and I ask the male, "Are we, as me, Sharon? Are we in an underground? Are we underground in an underground base?" And he says, "Well, we don't need to talk about that now." In other words, okay, you already know where you are. All right. Well, as Sharon, we'll talk about that another time, right? And then I said, "Well, what are you doing?" As me, and he says, "Well, this is the work week. This is the work week." In other words, so what I was getting was that we were there to do something, some kind of a mission. Okay. Now, um,
The work week.
it's the work week. It's a work week. The
Yeah.
work week. Yeah.
You're like, well, I
Oh,
already clocked out in this lifetime. I'm not clocking in this
I
one.
know. I know. Oh, and I forgot to say, I forgot to,
Overtime.
right? So I guess when I leave this body, this lifetime, I'll be still working there, doing whatever they're doing. I'm doing there. But one thing I also wanted to mention was that after I asked that question, I looked and I saw there was a window, which I didn't notice before, and some future space plane, whatever it is, went flying in. I couldn't tell if it was landing or flying off. And I tried to find something that looked like it, but it was silver and it didn't have wings like a plane. It was elongated and very futuristic looking. Um, it could have been a drone. I don't know, but it was flying pretty quickly as it went by the window, and it was either landing or taking off because it was kind of um, it wasn't it was kind of like perpendicular like that. So I thought that
That was
was
in
interesting.
your waking life or in a dream space?
In this reality shift, in the shifted reality, yeah.
So when you were driving around, you looked out and saw that?
No, that was when I was in that what I thought was an underground base.
Okay.
I
So you
saw that.
saw
Yeah.
underground, you
But I
saw
wasn't underground when I saw that. Then I realized,
oh,
"Oh, wait, I'm not underground because I didn't see the window at first."
okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
some place where futuristic wingless planes are landing and taking off.
Unless they're not futuristic and it's some kind of base that has
Right.
these craft that
Mhm.
are, there. Yeah. Um, so anyway, I thought those were interesting, and I need to sit and that just happened not too long ago, so I need to sit in meditation with that and see bring through information too about that, you know? Where was I and what was that all about? Um, there was something else. Oh, okay. Also, I've been getting downloads, whatever you want to call them, inclinations, intuitions, inspiration, whatever you want to call these, that we're going to be seeing a lot more craft in the sky. Have you been getting anything about that?
So regular people are going to be seeing a lot more craft in the sky. Okay.
In our everyday lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I mean, I haven't. I that feels right. I think they're all kind of always around. So
Yeah.
are they? And when we say they, I mean, because uh, so I guess what I would say is anytime you see a craft, feel free to tune into that craft and see what it feels like to you because there's all kinds of different frequencies of crafts that are flying around.
Right.
And never try and force. I mean, if somebody's next to you and you're like, "Oh my God, did you just see that?" and they're like, "No, don't doubt yourself, and don't force them to see something if they can't see it either." But like, enjoy it, and if you get excited about it, try and tune into it because my experiences and watching other people and going to a SETI, like these are opportunities to be big heart openers, or it could just be something that you're being seen for some other reason and you might not want to have anything to do with that craft.
Yeah.
So I think there's like multiple things going on. So it would be interesting to see. It feels to me like a lot more frequencies are going to be able to come through to sort of like opportunities to kickstart somebody into maybe remembering their own history, connecting with galactic families and star families, people that just it hasn't like quite clicked on for them, to help widen the spectrum of awakening.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I feel that that's happening as we speak, and it's continuing to happen. And I feel it, and with, like you said, seeing, excuse me, seeing more aircraft, I believe, is also be. We're not really seeing more aircraft. It's just that more people are becoming aware of them, perhaps. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it can also. I mean, I feel like if I can imagine that because the Earth is shifting, right? So I feel like there's a plethora of veils. All
Yeah.
these veils are actually kind of helpful. So some of them can kind of be dropping in certain frequency points or areas
Hmm.
where beings or spacecraft that has a craft that can lower its frequency to take a physical form so that we can actually be able to see it would come into, especially the daytime ones, right? Because those to me require kind of like a different kind of field of energy. Like and it might not be your star family, but your star family can be working through because everybody's like connected and people know where they are. And so they'd be like, "Hey, I got a
A
kid
little,
down there.
yeah, just a
Let
little
me do a
wink.
flyby," right? Because it's all kind of orchestrated and sort of
Right.
organized. And then that's when you're like, and I just somebody I was working with was like, my husband was driving and I was looking out the window and it was during the day and this spaceship thing flew by and I'm like, that's amazing, and it felt really amazing, and that's exciting, and it's always exciting to have a place where you can share that and feel safe about it rather than
Right.
ridiculed. Now at nighttime, and maybe, I mean, I feel like I see way more craft at night than during the day because I think it's easier for them to be farther away and to be like bloop bloop and then just go away.
Power up. Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's interesting also, and it doesn't have to be a craft. I'll never forget when I was with Ashley here in person at one of a meeting where we were doing channeling and that type of thing, and we channeled galactics. And I came home, and sat, and I have these windows next to where I sit, and I was just relaxing, watching something on TV, and something told me to turn, and I turned, and when I turned, and it was a night, I saw this huge ball of light fly, um, fly in front of the window. It came down from the roof and flew by and went out over the river. There was no way it could have been a light from anything. It was it was some kind of a, and oh, I know what it was. I asked at the meeting. I think we asked for our families to give us a sign, if I remember correctly. Yeah, because I remember
Oh,
feeling that. Yeah, this was 3 years, 6 years ago, or whenever. How long have you been living there?
yeah,
6 years.
it's definitely been a while.
Yeah, it's been 6 or 7 years ago, but it was pretty cool because I remember now that we asked them to give us a sign, show something for us. So, we can do that. And that was really cool. So we can see orbs too, light orbs.
Hmm.
They don't necessarily have to be ships. And a lot of the ships may be man-made too, of course.
Yeah, those are the ones I'm a little like,
Yeah. Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
out of here. Like if you can't do something really nuts with your ship and or just completely disappear, or it's too clunky, or it's too,
Right.
I'm going the other way. Like,
It looks like you've had a few
I'm
beers
sorry,
before
is that
you
a screw that
got
I see from here? I am gone.
or if it's dirty, they
Yeah,
haven't washed it. Okay.
yeah. I'm sorry, that doesn't hook up to DNA. No, no thank you.
That's funny. I'll never forget Whitley Strieber. I'm sure everyone knows who Whitley Strieber is. You know who Whitley Strieber is, right? He wrote Contact, the
Hmm.
first book with the ET on the cover, where everyone, was triggered big time almost. First I want to say hi to AJ. Hey AJ from Columbia. Good to see you. Um, in Whitley Strieber's book, did I lose that thought?
Look, the ET on the front blew everybody's mind.
The dirty spacecraft. Okay,
Right, right,
that's
right.
what it was. Okay, he I don't remember which book he wrote it in, this experience in, but he was picked up. A human came to his house in the middle of the night and picked him up in a spaceship, and he said it was like a two-seater, and he said that it stunk. It stunk inside the ship, and it wasn't even clean. So it was this guy's little personal ship, and I assume he went around and picked up people or beings for some program,
Like a space ride.
and did a little space taxi, and couldn't even clean his ship.
That's okay. There's what is it called? It's one of my favorite shows on Netflix, and I think it's really good to watch with kids. I mean, because it's an animation.
Okay.
But it's about basically, I think it'll come to me in a second. It's about aliens that come here, and their whole planet's gonna like explode or get taken over or something. So they decide to become. They're like, we need to become incognito so that nobody sees us. So the whatever the voice that is helping them turns them into an old man, a girl, and then basically like a boy, like a dark skinned boy. So, but the joke is like these are the things that basically society looks over, so you're not going to be noticed. And they were brother and sister, and they went to school. But it's a really good show. But there is a character in there who they also run across who is also hiding there, and he's a mess. And he has a dirty spaceship, and they have to use it to go somewhere. That's like because he eats all these foods because he's like in a body and he's kind of overweight and he has this sort of like really messy craft.
Oh,
It's
that's funny.
yeah,
I
it's
guess
good.
he doesn't have cleaning drones.
No, no,
That's right.
because you're supposed to be human here, like hiding from these like forces that are coming. But when they're in their
Right.
house, they will like flip into, like this. Because the old man with the cane can turn into like this, this giant um being that knows how to fight. It's like supposed to be protecting the prince and the princess or whatever, so that they don't get killed, so that they can go back to the planet. Anyways,
Oh, funny.
yeah, it's good.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna find out what it is. It is an animation, but it's very good.
So Monica says, "Hey Monica, it was communion." I stand corrected. Thank you, Monica. Yeah, that book cover triggered a lot of people. Um, Communion, not Contact. Contact was the movie, I believe, with Jodie Foster, which is pretty cool too. Uh, but yeah, Willie Strieber's written a lot of good books. I always buy any books that he comes out with. It's good stuff. He usually comes to the UFO festival. I wonder if he's going to be there this year. Uh,
I don't know.
Ashley and I were just talking about in our neck of the woods, McMinnville, the UFO festival that they have every year is going to be this month, where this is the first photographed craft, the first craft that was photographed by a farmer, right, in the 50s. Isn't that correct?
I think so. It's funny because I moved out here and I didn't know anything about the UFO.
Oh, shame on you.
And then I
Shame
was
on you.
like, oh, which I just thought was funny. But then COVID happened and then none of it happened. And so I think last year was the first time, maybe, or some other time it happened. And I keep not being here. So it's weird. And I think things
Okay.
fell through with where I was supposed to be at during the UFO fest. So it's kind of weird. So I don't know what's going on. Like the beings like maybe don't want me there. I will say I feel like this is something I learned, and there's no judgment. There's a lot of UFOologists out there,
Mhm.
and that doesn't necessarily equate to spirituality. And
Oh,
so
I agree.
when
I
I show
agree.
up on
Yeah.
the scene, I'm like, oh, galactic UFOs, spirituality, the same thing. And then
Yeah.
I realized it's not the same thing at all. And this is also one of those things that I just have to like get over. It's good that people are celebrating this stuff, but there's like lots of alcohol and like partying involved. So there's this part of me that's like,
Yeah.
so there's just a lot of different energies. But and people dress up like green aliens, and it's
I
meant to be.
enjoy the parade. Parade is fun where people dress up and they dress up their animals, their dogs and everything. So it's
Yeah.
kind of cool. But
But
it's just
there's
a nice
history here
and it's
about
history.
that.
The
I didn't know. I just think it's funny because I show up and I'm like, wait, what? What is this UFO fest business?
Yeah, well they chose McMinnville because apparently the first unrebunked, non-bunked, debunked, non-debunked uh, photo,
Undeniable.
yeah, undeniable photo of a craft was taken there, and I believe it was in the 50s. So, so that's why McMinnville is famous for that contact or that craft. So it's pretty cool.
A
That's why they chose it.
farming couple in May 11th, 1950.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
Oh yeah, total flying saucer looking thing.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's
Yeah.
it it's pretty cool looking. It's a typical flying saucer, like you
Mhm.
said, looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if
So
you're
one
in
thing,
the area, come out.
huh?
I said, if you're in the area, come out because it gets so there's the party, there's talks, people come and talk. Sometimes
Yeah.
there's a pancake breakfast.
Yum.
And there's lots of wine country out here. And I think there's t-shirts, people really, they've been preparing. The town of McMinnville has been preparing.
It's a little town, but
Yeah.
they are famous for their UFO festival.
Hmm.
Totally. It's nothing like the uh, Contact in the Desert, which I've been to in
No, no,
California.
no. Those are two
It's
very
nothing like
separate
that.
things.
Huh?
I said those are two very separate things.
Yeah, very separate and very different. Very different. But but they're both good,
Yeah.
good stuff. So another thing that I wanted to mention um, was, I don't know if we talked about this. We probably did, about the possibility that there have been prophecies, and Werner von Braun talked about this on his deathbed. You know who Werner von Braun is, right? The Nazi scientist that the United States brought over from after Nazi Germany after the war to work on rockets and things like that. On his deathbed, he um, confessed to his secretary, I think it was, that what we would call the deep state, their last gasp would be using Project Bluebeam to create a false um, alien invasion. And so I've been hearing a lot of talk about that, that might be ramping up. So I like what you said earlier, Ashley, about if anyone sees a craft or anything like that, to feel, use your intuition, feel into it. Not only, so what I understand also is, and it's not fear mongering here. It's just I think the more we're aware of these types of things, then the more we can be discerning of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Project Bluebeam is, you can look it up for those who might not know what it is. It's a admitted um, military project with holographic imaging. Okay, and they can use so they can these people can project anything into our skies and make it look real, as we know, right? Um, so another part of this scenario I've heard too is that they might try to use people's religious beliefs to project like Christ, Buddha in the sky, saying, we are here. Get on these ships. We'll take you away because the world is ending, kind of thing.
I'm sorry.
No, that's
I know
okay.
that I'm like all starseed and all galactic, but I just am not getting on a ship. I'm like, no.
What's that?
I know that I'm like starseed galactic person, but I'm not getting on a ship. I don't, I don't care
Well,
who it
that's you. That's you. Yeah.
I know, but I just,
Right.
I know a lot of it, and I think that there's a lot of good, there's a lot of good ships out there to get on. But I think if the beings were coming for me, they would come in a different thing. But I think it's also important to remember, and I saw this actually a while ago. Ships aren't necessarily metal and things. There's actually a
Mhm.
whole bunch of ships that are here helping Earth, and they're
Mhm.
these chunks of planets, like actual planetary chunks that are like ships. Like Earth is a ship, right?
Right.
I think
Oh,
it's really
yes, I was just gonna say
important.
that. We're on a ship.
Yeah, we are on and in a living, breathing ship. So I think it's really important to sort of broaden the perspective of what a ship is. And I saw these, and there was like 12 of them. And okay, the vision part of it was like they were connected or hooked or strapped to the planet, but they were help calibrate her. And they were like, there was like a fiery one, like they were holding a whole bunch of different elements, but they were like massive ships, but they were massive chunks of planets because they came from actual bodies of planets. And I remember being really
Mm.
emotional when I was like watching and sort of experiencing all of this. So it's
Wow.
in, don't get on a dirty spaceship unless
Don't
you're
get
going, do a white figure test. I mean, I guess whatever's going to happen is going to happen, and you're going to know the right thing to do.
well well well, yes, we say that because, we have the experiences we have and we trust what we get, but a lot of people might not, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Especially if it's going to be feeding into their religious, beliefs and that kind of thing. So just, you know, to help in any way, if it helps
Mhm.
one person be aware if it happens,
Right, right, right.
like you said, whatever happens is gonna happen,
Yeah.
um, to be aware that, that might not be where you want it, what you want to do, if if that happens.
Yeah.
Um, because because I will say, in the secret space programs, these people that were taken, and I know now for sure that I was one of them because I have had a memory during a hypnosis session of being on Mars. Um, that and I mean, it's just crazy what these people have gone through. We're told that Earth was destroyed. Antonio Rodriguez writes about it in his book too, where he have people that he came across on the moon and on Ceres were Ceres, I don't know about the moon, were told that Earth was destroyed. So they didn't know that, they're lied to. These people lie like crazy. So
Hmm.
these beings. So I think it's important that we understand that always use discernment and the most important thing for us, like you were saying, is to be connected to our inner self, our inner guidance, and our inner our star peeps, our family, that kind of thing. And how you know that is if it's based on love and it feels good and
Hmm.
it's positive, their messages are positive, and it's not fear mongering, that type of thing. Yeah. Um, but also, I want not but and since we are in the process of joining the Federation, we need to be discerning.
Wait, can you say that again? Sorry.
Since Earth is in the process of joining the Galactic Federation, that of worlds, of planets, that humans need to be discerning. In other words, not be constantly um, falling for lies.
You got that, everybody? Don't fall for the lies. Sorry.
and
Funny.
y- and
I'm
that's
not
and that's
making fun of you, but it is
no, no,
funny.
no, no. That's all right. It wouldn't be the first time someone made fun of me, believe me. But
It's
no,
true.
but
Don't
I want to
fall
go
for the
back to what
lies.
you were. I want to go back to what you were saying about the veils, because
Yeah.
the more we go within, and the more we have our own discernment, the more we discernment and we connect to that higher part of us, the more the veils fall away,
Hmm.
and then we're able to see through any bull crap that's being thrown at us. We're able to see through it. Okay.
Hmm.
End of story. And we want to be part of the Federation because when we're part of the Federation, um, we don't fall under the rules of the Prime Directive. In other words, if we have any beings like reptilians infiltrating or coming back or that kind of thing, um, we are under the that guise, or we are with the Federation, and we have all the help we need there because they our planet cannot be infiltrated by outside forces if we've evolved to the point of being a part of the Federation of Planets, that we've grown, that, have matured to be part of that galactic community. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. We're not the weaklings on the block that can be manipulated like we have been for thousands and thousands of years. Not just manipulated, but um, yeah, manipulated and kept down. Okay, enough of that. I'll get off my soapbox. So
No,
someone
no, no, no.
MK MK says, I was told if you send hard energy at them, non-terrestrials, only the positive ones will be comfortable with the energy. Well, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And so I think
Disagree.
that's when you can kind of communicate with them. And usually I always feel like you feel the heart opening. like you feel like you want to open your heart and it feels loving, and that's when they'll sort of power up or do 90-degree things in the sky to be like not a plane,
Yeah.
not a satellite, and sort of they'll play, and it's fun.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Good night, Miss Jules. Good to see you. Hopefully I'll see you Thursday when Michelle and I are doing our thing. Okay. Miss Jules is there sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So
So if you do want to see, so if anybody wants to like play with, I just like to call them UFOs, but of course they're not called that anymore. And I like to,
UAPs. They're called
yeah,
UAPs.
UAPs. It's like to you can go outside, and it's always fun to do it with people, but you can definitely do it by yourself and set a really clear intention to connect with high vibrational non-terrestrial, extraterrestrial beings. If you're already connected with your star family, you can ask them to help you, and watch, and it should be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we've done my sister and I have done a lot of a few CE5s at
Mm-hmm.
her house because she's up in Snohomish and has some property out there. And we've had groups out there, CE5s, the Stephen Greer thing. And we have seen shit. Every time I go there, we see, I should say, craft that are very unusual than just a satellite or a shooting star. And who is to say it's a shooting star anyway? It could be a fast moving craft. Who who is to say it's a shooting star? Um, so anyway, we've seen a lot of that stuff, but also we take pictures and get some good stuff. Lots of good stuff. So if you do any kind of a CE5, be sure and take some pictures. I bet you'll get some good stuff.
Yeah.
And when people meditate together,
Yeah.
you really feel the energies there
Yeah.
because it's not always about craft in the sky. It's also about beings being around you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool, and you'll feel it.
And fun.
Okay. Huh?
And fun. I think it's just important. Like it's serious, and like it's always good to set up space, create the intention, but it should be really fun and exciting.
Right.
Right. And I think that also sort of jacks up the energy.
It does, and that's what attracts the
Yeah.
higher beings to us. Yeah. When we ramp up the energy and raise our frequency, because that's what they're all about. Lightness,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we are too in that higher part of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, so anyone have any comments or questions about their experiences or anything else you want to talk about, Ashley?
I don't know if I said this last time, but I keep on sort of getting nudged to say this every once in a while. I did like a 5-5 gateway event last week, and I know that there's a lot of talk out there about the Earth going through a pole reversal shift, and it's that talk has been out there for a while.
Someone mentioned that to me the other day.
Yeah, and so what I really feel is like the human is going through a pole reversal shift. Like we individually are, and then maybe at some point the earth is. But if the earth does that overnight, we're all exploding, right? Like that doesn't that doesn't
Yeah.
really track with what's going on. And what I mean by this is, and I think that's why I was just sitting there thinking today, it's like, what's going on? Because the beings gave me the name for this course guy in the galactics. And I'm just like, okay, so now I'm kind of like watching all of this stuff happen and feeling all of these things. And it really feels to me like however you align is perfect, but your own poles are going to get reversed, right? Because I used to spend the majority of my time connecting, and I still do, and it's very easy for me to connect with the star nations and all the beings, and my preferred realm are the light realms, right? But I've been really being asked for a while, and I've been really working on this for over a year to be able to connect with like rivers and mountains, but like channeling all of this energy through my body, which is denser and different. And it kind of almost feels like everything is just getting reversed, but it's not getting reversed in that I'm no longer whoever I think I am, although that may or may not be true. I don't know. But last year, for a while, they were like, there is no such thing as, I don't know if I said this here, but they were like, there is no such thing as Ashley. There is no such thing as Galactic Ashley. And I was like, oh God, like, what is about to happen, right? And then it was like a lot of this stuff started shifting, and it's been over a year. And it's so, and a lot of that is so I can connect to the dragon consciousness and channel this massive energy through me, which took me a while and a lot of sort of adjustments in my energy field to be able to do that. And now it's like, okay, can you channel this river, and then every voice that's ever sung to this river, and also become a chunk of a mountain that falls off into the river and dissolve into the river and channel this massive amount of energy. And it's like, and so that's sort of what I've been being asked to do too. And that is also taking a whole lot of adjustments. And it's not because I am only this way or the earth, right? It's because I am both and having to merge those things together. So I'm saying all of this because in a lot of ways I could get in my head and be like, wow, I'm lost. I don't know anything. Who am I? And a lot of that has, been coming up like mildly. I'm just like, well, we'll see. And by the way, beings, I do have a business that needs to operate down here. So help me do something. Because I still want to work with Starseeds, right? But this whole idea of Earth Warrior has really been like surfacing too. And I'm like, okay. And they've never been separate. And so I really think and believe and feel it's about merging these two things
I was just going to
together.
say integration.
Yeah, but like in
That word can,
a massive way. So a
yeah.
lot of us I feel like are going through these whole shifts to bring these things together. And so what might this look like? This might look like somebody that what I call, and what I would have said before, is reverse grounding. Like if you don't feel like you're from here, connect up, bring earth here. I mean, bring home here to this planet. It's okay to be rooted if that feels safe to you, but you need to be here, right? Versus a lot of people that are like, I need to be grounded into this planet and then I'll reach up. Because either way, both of those things can be disorienting. So it really feels like we're supposed to be very connected to the stars, very connected to this planet, and integrate both of those things in all of the massive ways. And it can really feel like a pole reversal in the body. And so anytime there's stuff out there that's like, oh, the earth is going through this pole reversal, I would tune into that and see how you might be going through a pole reversal, or how and this can look like things that you were really, really interested in. There's nothing there anymore, which like that was a chunk of our identity. Like, what if you created in this one way and made this one thing, and then you're like, I don't care about this, or I want to get rid of the guitar, or that thing that I used to be really into, or maybe I was really into cars and now I'm not. I'm just totally making up random things right now. I'm like
No, it
looking.
makes sense because when we shift, things shift around us. So, they either fall away or are amplified.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. No,
And
that makes total
when
sense.
we start integrating what I call, or what can be called, stations of identity, which are these like multi-dimensional aspects of ourselves, whether they were some earth warrior or whether this was your headed big-headed person behind the podium.
I think she's my future self.
Okay, so
But what
maybe
is future anyway?
yeah, but maybe this is another aspect of you that's wanting to integrate into this body. And so I've not experienced a near death experience in the same way that you have, nor have I experienced a soul exchange in that way. But we can have soul braids or an integration of what I like is just another aspect of us coming in because we've done enough work to create enough space. And so when we start embodying and actually becoming and merging or braiding with these higher vibrational parts of ourselves, there's going to be huge chunks of us that fall off into the river or that like, you know, maybe like I remember somebody I knew growing up hit their head or something, got a concussion, and they came out of it. They didn't like sour cream anymore. Like they wouldn't touch it. So I'm just coming up with random stuff, but it's okay if like I think that these are the kinds of identity shifts that are going to be happening. And when that happens, there can be a lot of people, and I've experienced this, although it's usually within family, and so I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. But like, I don't even know who you are anymore, right? That was me mocking my mother, but but I mean, you could have other people around you that just sort of disappear, or they might be like, you know, and they just
Totally.
leave, and you might not really know who you are anymore. But rather than panicking, and I've been seeing this in a lot of people's field, like energy fields. The beings will basically show me this field of this, like an actual field that's just open and it's empty, right?
Mhm.
And in that emptiness, you can discover who this version of you is, right?
Mhm.
Which it can, rather than being like, I don't know who I am, what do I do? I'm having an identity crisis. It's like, just be without identity and take the space and time to discover likes and dislikes, just like a kid. I think we talk about this last time? I can't remember, but it's like kids
Oh
are
no.
never like, they're not like, well, I should like that because XYZ. They're like, I love purple. I love rainbows. I love glitter. And they just like it because it feels good to them in the moment. Or I
Yeah.
don't like that, or I don't like you, or I'm not eating that candy from you, stranger person. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So I feel like there's big things like that are happening within us. So if you have a friend and they seem like they maybe went a little cattywampus for a second, maybe just give them a break and see, and just remind them like it's okay. Because we sometimes, this is how I experience this, like all these parts, I feel a lot of times like I'm this multi-dimensional Rubik's cube. That's like not just a square one, but like some wacky shaped one, and that shape is always changing. And then when that shape is always changing, then all the colors have to like constantly realign. And then
Mhm.
there are times where that realignment and those shapes, I just feel like I'm a part in a lot of different pieces, and I just have to trust that it's all going to come back together. And it's in that being torn apart for a second before you get put back together, that's a little disarming and pretty vulnerable, and like, I don't know what's going on. And you beings promised me that I would not have a psychological split, and they're like, you're not going to. But it's helpful. Sometimes they'll show me like if I'm like really massively deconstructing a big belief system, it will look like a water slide at like a water slide park somewhere they're around, right?
Mhm.
Where you can no longer get on the ride. The pool has been drained and there's no longer like a hose or water coming out of it. So you can see like, oh, that is something that is there. That is definitely a belief system. I can't get on that ride anymore. I can't use that ride anymore. And I can recognize in myself, I don't feel this particular way around, I'm just going to say my parents or something, and then that slide is going to start to get deconstructed. So it's like kind of a nicer way. And then because things feel like they're really shifting and moving quite quickly lately, it's been feeling more like a Rubik's cube that's in a crazy shape, and that shape is always changing, and all these things are constantly getting realigned.
Yeah. So
And it's a lot.
it makes it's yeah, it is a lot. It is a lot. I know. Makes me think of as we shift and things are getting realigned, that shifting th- whatever's in our life that doesn't serve us any longer, that we're shifting out of, that matrix comes apart, is falls. It's a matrix, right? Part of
Mhm.
our matrix, and that matrix just falls apart, and then we might bring something else into our matrix that is in alignment with where we're shifting to, and so keeping that energy flowing, or the matrix moving and flowing. Because I had seen, I don't know if I shared that here, but I've seen my matrix. Well, I've seen the matrix in a grocery store, the actual matrix. Um, no drugs, no alcohol involved. When I was meditating and fasting, though, but and I saw the green and blue lines, everything disappeared, and I could see the matrix just like in the movie, except a different color, and like the holodeck on Star Trek. So I knew then, okay, this is all a projection. We're projecting all this. And I also saw my own matrix,
Mhm.
my own personal matrix. And this was in a psilocybin ceremony. And it was so gorgeous. It was beautiful. It was pastel coloring. I could see as I was breathing, I could see the matrix moving in and out as I was breathing my matrix. It was just really, really pretty. So yeah, so I got that. I could write books on just those two journeys alone, psilocybin journeys. Um, but I got that as I was healing from the psilocybin, from the medicine, the plant medicine, that my matrix was being adjusted, like you were talking about, kind of thing. Yeah, and light was being brought in, um, and things were coming up for me to heal, and things did come up. A lot of things came up, a lot of stuff. So what was being brought up that was stuck in my matrix, or just still rattling around in my matrix, came up. So anyway, it made me think of that. So cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, and if you don't know, like 20 years ago, I didn't know what was going on with me when I was going through, these really deep experiences that we can call a dark night of the soul. If you don't know what's going on, it's very scary. So yeah, and people, your family, your friends can look at you like, okay, she's losing it, which I kind of was. I was. I just had one toe in this reality. The rest was in other realities. But anyway, I recovered.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and people do. People will. Hmm. Yeah, good advice. Because there's a lot going on. We're shifting. I feel a shift every day.
Mhm.
Something's shifting. I was just writing in my book a couple days ago, um, about about shifting and being aware of two realities at the same time. And I don't know how to explain it, but as I'm sitting there in my room, in my bedroom classroom at the time 20 years ago, and my teachers are in there showing me different frequencies, and how our frequency affects everything around us. And I realized it was my frequency that was affecting everything around me. I could hear a conversation with my partner at the time that I was having, that they were showing me in my head, and the conversation started at a higher frequency, and it was friendly and everything, and then they showed a dial. I could see a hand on a dial, turning a dial, turning it down. The frequency would go down, and the same conversation would get less and less friendly. Same conversation as the frequency was lowered, and then they'd show turn it back up. So I realized that my frequency, it was me, my higher self, or whoever, turning up and down my frequency, showing me that my frequency affects how I perceive the world, and even my interactions with people, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, this, uh, and there was something else that happened, and I don't remember what I was writing about, but where I realized, okay, we're not, since we're not really in this world, we're projecting this world. If I just sit here, I'm just sitting here. I have these weird thoughts. I'm just sitting here. Can I just sit here and um, project, and just be? I'm just sitting and being. I'm in this space. I'm not really anywhere. I'm not anywhere. I'm still at source. I'm at God at source. I'm one with God, one with source, projecting into this space, this what I think is space. But but I'm not there. Talk about a pretzel.
But I think, okay, so I feel like that's really interesting, and I like the frequency thing because frequencies don't lie, and
Right.
that's why um, something can look like anything, but they can't feel like anything, right? Like, so a demon can be like, oh, I'm a god, but it's not going to feel like a god, right? And we're just talking in really like black and white terms, which I don't even think that necessarily exists, right?
Mhm.
So frequencies don't lie, which means you can't fake a frequency either. So you can't pretend something doesn't bother you and go into a conversation and be like, oh, everything's completely fine. This isn't bothering me. I mean, you can attempt it, but it's not going to happen. And
And
that
you get sick. If you keep doing it, your body gets sick. Sorry to interrupt you.
no,
Yeah.
no, 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 that's okay. I
Yeah.
mean, you can try and go into a conversation. Sometimes we have to. Sometimes we have to go into conversations because we want to be there for our friend or whatever, but something terrible is going. We just have to kind of like suck it up and just be like, I'm going to do this. And I'm also going to pay attention to what is happening to me internally that doesn't want to be here, that doesn't like this, because physically I am not in danger, but I am really uncomfortable with this because of why. So then it helps us unearth these subconscious frequencies that we're all dealing with that are actually interfering with our conscious intentions. So everything that we have around us that we see in our life that is existing is highly based on our belief systems, our own frequency. It's like the
Mhm.
torus field, right? Which
Mhm.
even when we die, like that, this is an energy field that's never created or destroyed. It's the parts of us. I feel like it comes from our heart. Ideally, it's spinning around us. We're inside of it. And then if you want to go with the whole projection, everything's being mirrored to us, Mahana and Mayu, and this wall isn't real, except it kind of is. Right. So,
Because we
um,
make it real. Our mind makes it real.
yeah, and
Yeah.
but we have to do so much clearing out of these belief systems that we've inherited from how we entered into this space to begin with, um, to be able for this wall not to be real. Because in order for me to be able to walk through this wall, I have to be able to shift my vibration purely to be able to vibrate actually as fast as this wall is vibrating so that I can walk through it. And
Mhm.
that's going to take a little bit of time. I mean, it's not just I'm going to believe this and shift my belief system and run through this wall. Otherwise, I'm going to be very bruised for a while I keep trying it. But I'm literally going to have to like vibrate so fast that I can walk through this wall. We think this is dense and dumb and boring, but it's really not. And there's a lot of things in my subconscious that are that aren't telling me that this is a wall or not a wall, but that are in my subconscious that are preventing me to be able to shift my ability to vibrate at those levels, and to do so while still being in a body, right? Because we are in these bodies to increase their vibration. And to me, that's why things get so uncomfortable.
Yeah. That's interesting about the wall. I love that because when I go out of body, I can only walk through a wall. I mean, I'm a lot better with it now, but if I don't believe that I can walk through that wall, if I think that I'm not able to walk through that wall, if I still have belief, I can't
Mhm.
walk through the wall. But if I know I can walk through this wall, I'm not physical, then I can walk through the wall. So there, of course, it's a little different, but you know,
But it's still kind of very
but
similar, same thing.
it's the same thing because there is no wall.
Yeah.
Yeah, like in the Matrix, there is no spoon, and the child monk says there is no spoon. And I just had a spoon bending class too last weekend. Everyone bent their spoon and more.
Again,
Yeah, yeah.
like
Mhm.
twirly, twirl it, did it twirl?
Yes, yes, lots of twirls,
Yes.
lots of twirls. But yeah, that's mind bending stuff. I love it. I would suggest everyone write a book because you dive deep. Everyone has a book in them, right,
Yeah.
AJ? AJ's the author here. There might be other authors here, um, but yeah, everyone has a book in them. Get it. It helps you dive deep into your experiences and life. I had a guest on my channel here, who year ago or so, where she started just out of the blue, decided that she wanted to do her life review while she was still here, and she did it, and yeah, um, and wrote it down, journaled it,
Hmm.
and it actually caused her to have a spiritual transformative experience,
Wait.
STE.
When you say a life review, she took herself on what she could remember from this life, or like the
Mhm.
being took her
No, she
through?
did it herself. She did it
Oh,
herself.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
So
alright,
she started writing her life review. Okay,
okay.
and it led to a kind of like an NDE. It was like an NDE. She
Mhm.
was driving her car when she had this experience, and I'll have to put the link it because it's just amazing. And then she's from the perspective of sitting in the back seat, I believe, and is expanded to the universe type of thing. But she's in her car, driving her car while she's having this experience. So kind of like Jesus take the wheel thing. So her higher self or her guides took the wheel for her. But it was she wrote a book about her experience, that and leading up to it and what she did to or how it came about in some way. But I mean, there was a lot more to it than that. There's some other things, but I thought that was really good advice. Why wait till we die to do our life review, right? Why wait? Why not get it out of the way while we're here, and then we have more time to have more time, space to have fun, or to move up higher on the other side when we do leave our bodies.
So what was the intention of her life review? She just wanted to review everything that she'd done, and then when she got across like bumpy parts to like heal those parts or forgive herself or like
Yeah, I think so. I don't.
okay,
I I can't remember the exact intention of it.
okay,
She just got. She was maybe got information or guidance to
okay,
start doing it. Yeah,
I see.
she started reading the Nag Hammadi scriptures, Gospels, Nag Hammadi books. I have the book up there, but I haven't read it. Um, and I think that that kind of kicked things off for her too. So it all
Mhm.
happened. A lot of things happening together there, like
Yeah,
which I can relate to, and I'm sure a lot of people can.
yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, journaling, writing, very, very, very helpful. Okay, we are out of time.
Hmm.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Hopefully, our little show here was helpful for you.
Mhm.
and, that you enjoyed it.
Don't fall for the lies. That's
Don't
the
fall
key.
that's
Don't fall
the
for the lies. That's the takeaway.
Yep, that's the motto for
Mhm,
tonight's show. Don't fall for the lies,
mhm.
and they're everywhere. Trust what's within you, of course. All right. Thanks, Ashley. So
Thank you.
you talked about your course. Do you want to talk about it a little bit more and tell people where they can find you?
Sure. If you go to galacticashley.com, you can sign up for the course. I would love to have, I also, from my main page, you can also sign up for a free discovery session. So you can see if you want to join the course or get a star session or do one on one coaching. But I am highly recommending and sort of trying to magnetize all the people that are wanting to come to this Guy in the Galactics course. It's going to feel really powerful. And I'm sort of going through this process right now of basically pre-processing everything that's going to be happening. And it feels intense to
Nice.
me, but in a good way, right? So I'll do a lot of the heavy lifting before to make room for all the beings and everything to come through, and kind of it'll be okay. So if you need a
Yeah.
whisper or something more than a whisper, you'll be able to get it. It's a safe space. And my favorite part about it is the community aspect. So you'll be around a lot of sort of like-hearted people. And there's also 5 guest speakers that we're going to be sharing their gifts too. So it should be a lot of fun.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And for me, I'm in the middle of a out of body experience and lucid dreaming course. So I have that going on now. It's a 3-week course. And, if anyone's interested, you can look at the recording and join us for the second class on Sunday. Just send me a note. Also, on Friday, I have a free Zoom meeting, support group meeting on Zoom for anyone who is maybe has any kind of memories about Super Soldier or Secret Space Program
Mm-hmm.
type of experiences, because I think a lot of people are remembering these things, and it's nice to have someone, a group to that you
Listen.
can share that with. Yeah, a safe space. And also maybe people might recognize each other, because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen that happen in my experiencers group too, another group, and out in the world. And so anyway, so I have that on Friday. If anyone's interested in that, just send me a note to SharonSananda.com, and I'll send you the Zoom link, because it is a private thing. Private. I did send it out in my email yesterday, I think. But yeah, it's a private group, and that is that. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Mwah. Thank you, everyone. Love you all. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.